than we did. So we did go into it prior in like your 20-minute segment before the meditation. But I want to read what it says and more about what I'm picking up on the individual cards that came forth on another level. So for this week's reading, so I want to start with these two because Six of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. And as I said before, let's go. Let's see what it says in the book and what I'm picking up from the imagery and the geometry. Okay, where's it gone? So this is quite a nice pack because they're all cats. So if I can get them. There we go. So Six of Pentacles. Give and take, equilibrium and harmony. And like I was saying, the light and the dark, the Queen felt like it's the light energy, the sovereign self, and the dark aspects and the light aspects of the goddess. So going into faith is restored after a period of difficulty, cooperation and teamwork. Benefits all in business matters and personal relationships. You achieve success in worldly matters, but mindfully of how it feels to be at the other end of the scale, should maintain generosity towards others. Now, picture-wise, as I said, it's like Halloween on this card, and I'm getting a sense of this is like the clouds are parting. We've been through the worst of these essences from the sun, but also it's now coming through clearer. There was like a vow stopping it being so intensive until we were at the point where we could handle it a little bit better, and now that's being cleared. Whether you see that as we were being stopped from receiving it and now we're receiving it, I feel we were receiving it anyway, everything in divine timing. But that coming through. Also the black cat aspects of the guardianship and the black cat order are about the womb light dark space. They hold the body of essence while frequency is astro projecting and moving around and going for different realms. Holds, it's like a space saver kind of thing on an energetical level, but it's also the essence of that dark shadow, and 0 point is what encompassed for me for the black cat guardian. This is what I'm feeling. It is very present always for me, but this week also you've got the Halloween, the pumpkins, and the pumpkins are symbols that you put out at Halloween at Samhain in the tradition of Wicca to guide souls, to guide them back home. And there's a sense of a lot of souls that have transitioned in this period, and allowing that there's a need for that transition, that lighting the lanterns, guiding the spirit, and also the pentacle on both of these, because pentacle to me is the Merkaba. It is the three-dimensional aspect of that, the sacred geometry of our structure of our body, of our being. The Queen aspect here, I'm picking up the flowers. She's got a crown, which is the crown chakra, that I felt personally, certainly, that we were opening up more to letting these high frequencies that had been challenged. And the crown in itself of the planet and everything linked to what happened over the last few years with COVID and the corona, even the naming it of that. But also look at the castle, the flags are flying, there's money there, it's exchange, it's abundance, it's feeling sovereign and sovereignty. And what sovereignty actually means, lording, it's not lording over people, it's looking after, and a guardianship. Again, like the guardian, black cat guardian, it's the guardian of the soul, it's the guardian of the being, it's being in that state. So I will read what the traditional for it is. Let me get it up. There's the queen. That's one. So not the queen. So it's different. Where is it? It's the material Gregorian person who offers practical solutions and is interested in the arts. They are financially secure, allowing them to be generous of those they love. Like all court cards, they can signify a person coming into your life, or that their qualities are being manifest in you. I feel this represents the qualities that we're manifesting in ourselves, in our sovereign self. So those were the two that I was unsure of when we did the reading, and more in depth. Let's move to the feminine aspects, the goddess of light that came through. So these are quite long, so I'm going to try and paraphrase a little bit, otherwise we'll be here for a while because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will use the things so I'm quicker. Where I think it's the pronunciation, it's 150. If you have the book, it's page 150. If you want to look more in depth for yourself for Megan Wilkinson's Divine Feminine. 30. 5. So, who is she? She embodies the levity that brings us out of the darkness and shows us the beauty of our own light. She is the most powerful deity of the Shanto religion. She's the solar goddess of Japanese mythology. Her name means shining in heaven. The oldest legends of Amaterasu dates back to the 8th century and comes from the Kochikuti, I'm probably completely mispronouncing that, of Japan, recorded of an ancient matters in Shanto. Kamiya are spirits of deities, and the most well-known story of the Kamiya is Shanto is when Amaterasu got to fight with her brother Susanoo, god of the storms of the sea. His violence made her so upset and angry, she retreated into a cave, leaving the world in darkness. Kamiya or Meramet placed a mirror outside of the cave and laughed so much that she became curious. She peeked outside the cave and saw a beautiful goddess, a stunning vision of the dawn. She was in awe of it, not realizing it was her own reflection. Surrounded by laughter and anger and depression lift, and she agreed to leave the cave, bringing her light with her back into the world. And I was speaking about in our meeting today how sometimes when we've been in a dark place, it's hard to come out of the light, because it's almost, if you think about being like if you've been inside and you come out and it's bright sunshine, you almost kind of want to shut your eyes and you're blinded because it can be quite too bright. So it takes sometimes a tentative, slowly adjusting to the light for us to actually to be able to open our eyes. The cave is critical, drawing inwards and hiding out light to restore ourselves as well, though, to heal from something or someone that felt too intense or aggressive. So we were referencing the womb-like need for a lot of light workers at the moment, where they're having these energies hit them and they're feeling more tired and almost retreating and going within, because they feel they need to be in like a cocoon-like state of being, back into 0 point, in order to go through this crystallistic process to become open and opening up, like this the butterfly that we are becoming, that we're all becoming, that we all have the potential for. When we hide our light for it, though, we aren't the only ones left in the dark. We take our light from the ones who love us as well. The beauty of her is that she emerges from the cave out of curiosity, attracted to someone else's joy. That's when she meets with the dawn of her own reflection. She doesn't truly see herself and the beauty of her light until she's drawn out of herself. Sees her own light once she becomes curious about seeing the light that's around her in the levity and laughter of others and the other deity. This is the answer. If you've been too long in retreat, if you've been hiding out light, not out of self-love and soulful need for restoration, but out of a reaction to someone else's pain, then we draw ourselves out by focusing on the joy of others. Seeing their light allows us to see our own, and sometimes even the solar goddess needs to be inspired and reminded of why she shines so brightly, not just for the sake of her own reflection, but also for all those beloved beings that need her rays of light to remember their own. Sometimes we need to need the sight of the face we brighten in others to remember why we are so devoted to finding way back into the light. So the soul voice meditation here is imagine someone in the moment you want most to see laughing and filled with light. And the intention is we are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. So Lady of the Lotus, yes, let's see. Guys, I am live. Do you think you could take this elsewhere, guys? Right, so yeah.
And he wouldn't give it back.
Yentu.
Really ran away to the heath.
1111 or 121. So if you've got the book, it's page 121. Okay. Lady of the Lotus born. Embodiment in the deepest bliss. My body was made of enlightenment. Who is she? So she represents the deep wisdom that has been much misunderstood. She is the ultimate spiritual wisdom that the human body is all that is needed for enlightenment. She was born a princess in Tibet in 777 CE, according to legend. She was born in the same way as the Buddha. Mantra resounded and her mother gave birth to her. Painless, her name means wisdom, lake queen, because at the moment of her birth, a nearby lake doubled in size, symbolizing her tremendous wisdom, her waters of enlightenment. From a young age, only wanted to practice the dharmas instead of getting married, but the empowered of Tibet gave her to Padmatam, who have travelled to Tibet from India to spread the Buddhist teachings. He became her main consort and husband, and together they each founded their own lineages of Buddhism and techniques. She spent many years isolated in meditation and accomplished several cycles of tantric spiritual practice. She receives esoteric intentions and becomes known as a fully enlightened Buddha in the form of an ordinary woman. She is also considered to be an incarnation of Vajrayani. I can't pronounce that, I think that's an Indian name. And her husband predicted that she would reincarnate as the legendary Tibetan Buddhist tantric teacher and Yogi Magi Labyrinthom. When your soul is reflecting on this card, it can be easy to forget that everything we touch, everything we say, and everything we do is not separate from the divine. The embodiment, one of the most potent spiritual truths, is the female body is an assistant, an enlightenment, not a hindrance. The body is a vehicle for freeing us from the idea that there are any limitations to reality. Tantric, which weaves together the sacred and the mundane to reveal the spiritual nature of all things, allows Yinshu to realize that she was both an ordinary woman and an incarnation of the Buddhist that guru, whoever. We are both human and divine. We are both a mortal body and an external essence that continues on. The body too often can be a scapegoat for so much hate, distrust and violence. The body holds infinite wisdom, pleasure and possibilities. And this is what I was saying about, and in the meditation when we were releasing of shame, releasing and talking about how that raping of the womb, raping of creation and raping of the planet is all connected in levels, and the kind of generations of that, how that's coming up to be cleared. This is the moment to see your gorgeous body as a tremendous gift it is. It's the moment to realize that there are no greater intoxication than just being fully in the body from head to soul. So also those sacred divine sexuality and practices within them are the most grounding practices for the higher frequencies. And then Sekhmet, I love Sekhmet and the justifiable anger here. Let's see if we can skip through and find it. Just go straight to here. The page 174. Sekhmet represents the sacred rage that keeps us protected and reminds the world of the pure strength of the female power that justified anger for all of those things. So Sekhmet is an Egyptian warrior goddess depicted with the head of a lion and the body of a woman. The lion was considered the fierce hunter in Egypt and a sign of protection. She is the daughter of the sun god Ra, and we're working with all of these solar energies at the moment. The red solar disc that she wears indicates that she is the solar deity. She is known as the powerful one, the red lady. She would maul the one before whom evil trembles. Okay, darling, your sister's there as well. The ancient Egyptians held rituals at the end of the war and at the beginning of each new year to tame the wrath of Sekhmet. They would play music, drink beer, that was dyed with pomegranate juice, and dress all of the Sekhmet statues in red. It was believed that the inebriation would lull the goddess into a stupor and end her destruction. Sekhmet was a powerful guardian and protector of the pharaohs. She was called on during times of war and considered to be a goddess of divine retribution. When your soul is selecting this, the holy rage, the sacred anger, and the positive aggression, which there is plentiful at the moment, those states of being are critical aspects of the divine feminine. It's the feminine power that ends the wars, that brings home missing children. Powerful lot of energies flow through them. That seeks the justice for truth and for those who can't defend themselves. And I'm hearing this is the sex trafficking. This is what's happening in the war. This is what is happening now across our planet that some of us don't want to think about, don't want to go down and go, okay, yeah, it's happening, but I can't help it. We still can help it by acknowledging it, allowing our anger to be transmuted, acknowledged, and cleared, but still we can defend on an energetical level as well, on many levels as well. The brilliant artist and musician William Blake relates the voice of the honest indigenous of the voice of God. The feminine has far too long been disorientated from rage and anger. You were like locked up for being angry. If you started to get angry or you showed any sign of emotions, it was like you've got to push that down. And we've got the dark goddess in droves at the moment. This is that justifiable anger, allowing those sides to come up, and all aspects of the goddess present with the astrology at the moment. If we can't embody the fiery emotions of anger, it often festers and expresses itself in subversion, manipulated ways, or it leaves us anxious and frustrated. And we've had that toxic aspect for thousands of years. So there's understandably justifiable anger that is going to come up, that's been repressed, that needs healing. And it comes out in various ways, and it's coming out through, as we were talking about the planetary energy, and we go more into the more higher frequency of the dragon energy and the Hecate diamond energy that we were talking about in today's meditation. That in itself is hello, just let him pass, needing to be cleared and coming up to be cleared. I lost my train of thought. Positive aggression, acting with love on behalf of what breaks down our hearts or emerges us, is what allows us to become agents of change, to better ourselves. So one of the things that I feel that it's important to share, when I first started remembering past lives through my meditations, I wasn't given the emotions and the memories and the visions at the same time. I was given the visions all in one go, and then the emotions come through in one block, and it was like screaming the screams of multiple deaths, multiple traumas, all in one go in this divine clearing. And quite, hang on, what are we doing, mate? Which was very, very powerful and screamed at the time, but it was very clearing, very purging. And we're purging, a lot of us, in doing that for ourselves. We then allow ourselves to open to help purge the collective purging. And that was just my own soul's lifetime. So imagine over lifetimes and lifetimes of multiple souls in the collective, and in not just, that's just the human realm, in all those other dimensional realms with all of the other aspects of that had been through the distortions and stuff that's gone on, that is come up to be cleared. So this positive aggression, it's an acting with love on behalf of what breaks our hearts or emerging us. It's what allows us to become agents of change to the better of our lives and the world around us. So Sekhmet wants us to come forth face to face with our true strengths. The power doesn't come from passive aggressive behavior. We don't have to fear expressing our anger directly and intention and in situations, or a person who is acting unjustifiably. Sekhmet wants us to see that anger is essential emotion. It's also connected, I think, very much to this anger and of the clearing of the unknown, of that stuff that's coming up and that's being seen in the 3D world at the moment. There's lots of light workers that are feeling the anger that's coming through. For those that are not feeling it, they're actually empathically, but that's when it can get a bit skewed. You need to be able to allow it to come up, but it doesn't take control. You've got to still see it from the higher perspective, and not be trapped in like the victimizer energies, that dynamics that can come up in relationships and mirror around, and all of those patterns and stuff. That's the stuff that's clearing and going. So She's called to move the anger from pure emotions into conscious actions. She wants us to act with conviction and from love. She wants us to create the healthy boundaries we need so we aren't injured again and again and again and again, or so that we are free and freeing ourselves from the destructive patterns which are being clearing. It's time to end. We have a divine right to draw a sacred circle around ourselves. The protection we invoke ourselves and others helps move us from feeling helpless and taking loving action. When we do this, it's not a case of feeling I need to feel protective. It's the knowing that you are protective. It sets the boundary when you realize that there is a boundary and a no need for the boundary, if that makes sense. Where can I create loving boundaries in my life? Ask yourself, where are you not putting boundaries in place? I've literally had to create a bubble around me with crystals so that I could work today and clear some of these boxes so that I could actually sit down, for starters. So a physical boundary was something that come up for me, but emotional boundaries, it might be that you are so drained because you are there for others, or that you're not allowing and acknowledging your own emotions as you process things for things that have come up to be cleared. So I am pure strength. I honor my anger. I give voice to it. Speak your truth. Don't repress that. And finally, with the Divine Feminine cards we pulled, Teresa of Avalon. She namesake here, although I'm named after Mother Teresa. Let's just get 35. So I should get the page. With passion and conviction, Teresa of Avalon connects us to the love and truth available to us whenever we turn inward. Saint Teresa was born in Avila, Spain in 1515. An acknowledged adolescent, she experienced many illnesses and was confined to bed, which allowed her to begin to explore her own thoughts. She read every book she could find on spiritual exploration and contemplation and prayer. By the time she was young adult, she knew she wanted to dedicate her life to the interior world. She entered a Carmelian convent in Avignon in 1535. She increased the emphasis on contemplation and prayer and eventually reformed the Carmelite order, which was later joined by St. John of the Cross over the course of her life. Saint Teresa founded 17 convents throughout Spain. At the age of 44, she began to have a series of visions that convinced her that Jesus Christ appeared to her in bodily form and yet remained invisible to the eye. These visions lasted for 2 years and would inform her books, especially the spiritual masterpiece, The Interior Castle, which charts the ascent of the soul, an inner journey through the 7 mansions or states of being, and exists within us. Ultimately, Teresa wrote in hopes of assisting her sisters in the convent to also reach the innermost castle where God dwells in the soul. She reminds them that we ourselves are the castle, the sovereign castle that we see in the background of this cat, and that the doors entry into the castle is prayers and meditation. It's our way of connection. That's our tool to get there. Her own personal spiritual experience is at the root of her instruction. The closest she gets to the 7th mansions where the soul ascends, which requires, you're right there, mate, requires going further inward. The stronger the light is, she describes the ways that to discern the voice and presence of the divine within us, and the certainty of God that arrives, that cannot be explained or doubted. The inner journey was a significant to Saint Teresa because she became that God didn't care about the magnitude of anything we do, but rather the amount of love that we do it with. Pope Paul VI named Saint Teresa the Doctor of the Church in 1970. Her spiritual writings are considered integral to the Spanish Renaissance and to the history of Christian mysticism. So, what does this mean for us as a card? Saint Teresa is a call for importance of the interior life. She knows innately about the spiritual wealth we all possess and have access to if we're willing to go inward. Not only emphasizes the need to meditate, but to pray in order to reach that innermost castle where the soul waits for us. But she also instructs the saints, sisters to the convent on how to discern the presence of the soul, or the saint or the holy person that is giving us wisdom from within us. So it's the aspect that you're connecting to as well is important. She had a bookmark that supposedly read, "If you have God, you will want for nothing. God alone suffices." This synchronizes the wisdom of her experience. Nothing less than divine love will satiate a seeker, especially once you have met with it from within. It's and that kind of reference to many texts on spirituality, of that which quenches you is that which comes from within. But also there's a kind of, I feel like there's a side B here, and a little like warning is not to get lost within that, and to know that when it's always there, it's always present. So you no longer need to seek that which is what you need is within, or as said another way, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It doesn't matter what religious text that was referring to the energy, is the connection is key, is to go within. She had a bookmark that, she urges us to meditate, to pray, to go inward, and I urge you to do the same, and to listen to our meditation from today in the other video. And she asks us to believe that it is real, that the answers we find are real. So we have to learn to discern and to trust to that inner knowing, that voice, and knowing what's right for us and for our bodies. What does love feel like in the body? What does it feel like when you're in pure presence of love and that divine grace? And that's what we're hoping to connect to. I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. It's knowing that voice, that it's not just the mind and that anxiety and that frequency of those stories. It's something greater than that. It's the higher aspects of you, of yourself, your soul, your being, or whatever you want to call it, God, Goddess, universe. So that was the divine feminine. So now more into where we went with the meditation, and where I felt that it was more relevant to what I was connecting to. So Earth Dragon, clear your path and the land around you. Stay grounded, be ready to serve, and stuck energy is clearing. You can move forward in your life. You know that if you feel there's an obstacle, this card is representative of helping that. So let's go in more depth than what I said about in today's meditation. So we want Earth number 18. Fourth dimensional earth dragons are brown, the colour of the soil. They love the planet and the land itself. It was these sturdy dragons who helped to build the original dragon lines. So if you watch my previous video and the meditation, I was saying about the connection with Sophia and the origin of creation. And this is not reptilian energy. When I speak of the dragon energy, it's a collective of light being aspects, so of fractals. As you go up within the realms, you get this bigger essences. This is pre-matter, this is pre-earth formation, and as that energy was pulling together in the womb birthing of the universe itself, this is what is referenced. This is prior to that. Outside of time and space, you can allow that energy to still do the same that its origins would have done as it goes forth when we're working through that clearing and that womb healing. If these sturdy dragons who helped build the original dragon lines that we now call ley lines, part of their service work is to travel along them, to clear them. And I was saying, I really feel as though Newgrange and the UK is going through a mass clearing at the moment. And that was what was coming through in the visions. When asked to do so, when we send an instruction to the earth dragon to work with the ley lines, they can power away under the surface to clear the blockages, the impacts hugely on the people and the situations in the vicinity. And I feel that's where that's happening at the moment. Like, as Matthias would say, the acupressure, the grid workers, where they're doing and gathering and doing certain work like acupressure points on those energetic lines, clearing all of that distortional stuff from generational blockages that are built up from traumas and triggers and things that had happened in those sites. So that power away under the surface, and they clear away the blockages and feel them powering away through you in the same way, in the matter of your soul and your body. They can also help the ground and to ground our mission in life, bringing it into reality, into manifestations in time, to clear unwanted energies that are preventing your life from moving forward. Some of these may be in the earth, under your home or your office. So for me, I was feeling that in the energy around me of all of this stuff, all of the boxes and the stuff that I need to clear to help me with the energy of shifting that. Calling on the earth dragon and asking them to remove all that is not in accordance with the divine light. The sense of frequency rising within the land and on your path. The card also suggests that you may be called on to do planetary service and grid work. And I know a lot of you that follow me are grid workers, and my friends that are grid workers. As the earth dragons will take the opportunity to clear away any of the ley lines, you focus on, take a moment to direct them to clear the planetary grid and visualize the grid glowing and shimmering. When you walk, think of the earth dragons and connect with them through the earth. Ask them to ground you and your vision, for the card signifies that you are now boosting your spiritual journey and you are ready to fly. Notice the progression you make along the way. So this is all this week. Royal Blue Dragon, what are you? Dragon. Oh, here we go. We've got this one as well, so I'll do this one first. So Aquamarine Dragon and the Neptunian energy is the watery planet of the advanced spiritual and enlightenment. The Aquamarine Dragon from the illuminant planet carries the light of the universe, which contains spiritual information and knowledge. They will approach us and ask us to tune in to them. So they can download this light so into our own energy fields. This to me is Arcturian-like. It's connected with that. It's obviously aquamarine in colour. It's very Lemurian linked. It's linked with Talos and Tara as well, with the green dragon coming in here. These fields will enable us to take information and know how to amplify it wisely. As these gentle dragons flow around us, they also help us to access more of our inevitable soul knowledge and wisdom and pass it on to others humbly, sincerely, and honestly, because it's throat chakra energy, it's sound energy, it's truth. Truth is probably the wrong word. It's frequency and pure of sound. It's love, light, energy. They have the ability to pour liquid light into us, which builds our crystalline light body more quickly and enables us to shine. They also enhance our psychic development by enabling our psychic chakras to open up more easily. We may find our subtle knowing is heightened after encouraging them. So if you just spend a moment like now and feel that beautiful blue around you, you might want to think about a turquoise, aquamarine, beautiful beach, oceanness. Feel that coming in. The aquamarine dragons from Neptune are watery dragons. They will flow around you, surrounding you with the aquamarine energy and awakening your psychic abilities. So feel that happening. Bring your soul's contentment to a sense of your divine magnificence, and you will experience higher levels of enlightenment and see your own world and the universe through different eyes. Your guidance is to drink a glass of blessed water. As you tune to these dragons, they will be able to touch you more profoundly if you are singing to the waters as you go through. Green dragon. Let's see. What are the 2 pages? I'm still live, darling. I won't be long. Let's go. Royal blue. Where are you?
I got my money back.
Okay. Royal blue is 70 and green.
Well, I had to French and Williams funds.
I'm live, darling. I'll speak to you in a moment. All right?
Okay.
I won't be long. Dad's there if you need anything. So 70 and 64 if you've got the book. Little babe. God bless him. We try and do this in the day when they're not around. I did say. I knew this would be a long one because whenever I pull these ones, they are quite long. Help you tune in to the secrets of nature. So all answers lie within nature, and every single thing we need while on earth is provided for us in the natural world. Fifth dimensional green dragons touch our psychic centers and help us to tune in to the sacred geometry in the trunks of the trees, the petals of the flowers, the shields of the snails, shells of the snails. Everywhere is Master Pan's kingdom. They are the keys and the codes that are born in us, in tune with our divine essence within us, fully aligned with our fifth dimensional blueprint. We are automatically whole and healed. The natural kingdom is a magical place in which all of our answers are held from us. The luminous green dragon helps us to read these answers. So if we can sit quietly in nature, call the green dragon and ask for guidance. The response may come to you consciously or unconsciously. So accept that something important has been activated within you, whether you are aware of it or not. You may feel the need to walk somewhere, particularly if you follow this impulse, for your green dragon will be guiding you. Keep your eyes and ears open, for the answers may come through a tree, bird, insect, animal, or something else entirely. Your green dragon will guide you, directing you to the answers you need. The call for deep trust and an understanding that the divine plan is perfect. Drawing this card also suggests that you
would benefit from spending more time in the green world. So, and if we say 60 and 70. Royal blue and gold are the colours of majesty, dignity and illumination, achievement. Royal blue and the golden dragon carry the qualities and prompt us to stand in our magnificence and true power. These fifth dimensional dragons come to us when they see royal blue and gold in our aura, indicating that we hold wisdom and with power in the perfect balance, which has been earned from our connection with the golden era of Atlantis. We may have been incarnated, and as you know from past lives, I was a priestess there, of a spirit at the time, but we were living or serving on a higher path. The dragons will swirl around us, reminding us who we truly are and breathing light into our energy fields. We reawaken our ancient gifts and talents so that we can utilize them once more in service. They will re-energize our cloak and power and wisdom so that we can wear it with pride. And I'm hearing it's the light workers out there, those ancient souls of Atlantis and Lemuria, the 144,000, all of us. We're needing time to recharge. The rest and digest aspect on a very 3D level needs to happen. The purging, as you can hear, that I've been through, taking that time to acclimate what was needed as we went through these upgrades. So royal blue and gold dragon is lighting up the gifts and talents to carry in your aura. It is breathing courage and support and dignity into you so that you can wear your cloak of power and wisdom with pride. Most importantly, it's all awakening you to whom you truly are. We're all stepping into that, and we're all individual. It's enabling you to radiate your special light. The dragon is always with you. It holds your sword of truth, so Archangel Michael can enable you to speak and act in truth and in honor at all times. It roars at those who try to dismiss you and befriend those who empower you. You are all the support you need to teach the divine majesty by example. We live by example of love and light. So hopefully that's enough. I went obviously into my version of what this meant in the first video. So love and blessings, and thank you for joining me. I'll pop this up on the members, right, so it's there, because my life is calling me over there. Love and blessings. All donations are received with deep gratitude. So I'll pop a link below this video if you'd love to contribute. It's donation based. I receive with gratitude. So thank you.